30 on Masson.
The century mark as Clemson gets another turnover, a miscommunication between Hank and Delicia Washington.
2018-19 ACC Coach of the Year, leading the Tigers to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2002. They won a game of the tournament as well. Beautiful backdoor feed, and it's Swartz who pays it off.
That's exactly what Boston College loves to do. They like to slip, to do those backdoor screens. Look for those easy cuts, and they're so good at it.
Kiera Lewis off the mark on the drive. Here comes Marnell Gerard. Cam Swartz fires and hits.
And that's exactly what Coach Burnaby McNamee was telling us in our interview. They like to play from the inside out. When you start driving in and getting some things going inside the paint, you can kick out to your shooters, and it makes it easy for them. As that game swats away Washington's shot with the volleyball swat.
Do not go in there. The message sent early.
And right here, Washington beats Swartz to the rim, but that gang is waiting right underneath the basket, swats it out. Bit of a volleyball swat there.
Get it inside to Washington, maybe a little tentative because of the last block shot. Is that a thing as a player?
It's definitely a thing. You know, you think twice after getting your shot blocked.
Swartz feeling it right now, nothing but net. She's got all 7 for the Eagles.
Transition offense for the Eagles going very good right now.
Backdoor feed, a little dose of BC's medicine, but unable to convert amidst the traffic around the rim.
And for Kiera Lewis, that's about finishing underneath the rim there. Kind of overshot it, maybe expected a little bit of contact. And that's another, you know, to your point, Evan, earlier with that game, when you have a player of that caliber, that height, that skill set, who can get up and block shots like that, you think twice about going in the paint.
Open look, Allie Van Timmeren. Offensive rebound by Taylor Soule. She's tied up, and it will be Clemson ball. But Soule getting on the floor for that rebound.
And those are the plays, the hustle plays. Diving on the floor, taking charges, getting deflections. Those are the things that keep players in the game and keep your team motivated around you that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Oh, great deflection. Swartz knocked it away from the driving Daisha Bradford. Nunu Bradford missed the last couple of games. Clemson has her back today. But the Tigers are without Gabby Elliott, without Eno Enyang, and without Kiana Gaines. They do have Hannah Hank, and she's got their second bucket.
Yeah, good-looking basket there for Hannah Hank. But, you know, back to your point, Evan, about the discontinuity and the lineups for Clemson. They've had 11 different lineups so far this season.
Before the shot, foul on Clemson. Don Robinson, her first.
And like everyone else, Evan, you know, it's hard to navigate this kind of a landscape with COVID players coming in and out and being available. But some of those are due to injuries, some due to COVID, and just haven't been able to have a consistent lineup yet this season for Clemson. Looking a little like they have to get their feet under them so far in this game early on.
The transfer from Southeast Missouri, Latrice Sane, is into the game for the Tigers. Another offensive rebound for Taylor Soule, and she had it stripped away. Kiera Lewis, the former Syracuse star, emerging. Open look from the corner goes, and Nunu Bradford hits her first shot of the day.
And that's something that Clemson was missing when Nunu Bradford was out. Number 2 on the team and three-point makes, despite missing the last 2 games to COVID, and they really missed having her on the floor, especially from the three-point line.
And number 1 from a percentage standpoint is a team that really has struggled from beyond the arc. Washington to Bradford to the bucket. Couple bounces on the iron and a good outlet pass from Gakdeng to Swartz.
And Bradford Bradford able to play immediately, no minutes restrictions, and I'm watching her right now. She seems a little bit winded in this game. Conditioning might be a factor.
You're really going to do that to her? You're going to throw that out there? Give her a break.
Oh, no, she definitely has a break. I mean, she just shot a nothing but net 3 from the corner a second ago.
Certainly something to watch, though. You're right.
Yeah, definitely something to watch.
Eagles have missed their last 4 shots. Swartz, the only Eagle who's scored, and she's got all 9.
Swartz looking excellent so far in this game. I mean, she scored in a plethora of ways. She's hit a 3. She's driven the ball into the basket, pull-up jumpers.
Crazy how well she's played lately, averaging nearly 15 a game in BC's last 8. Entry feed, bobbled, juggled. Sane gets it onto the rim and scores.
Sane much needed on the inside for Clemson. Clemson number 2, like we mentioned in the open. Offensive rebounding in the ACC.
We get ourselves a timeout with 4:53.
Much needed, and we've already seen that for Boston College so far in this game with that volleyball caliber block that she had early in the first quarter.
Yeah, between Gacting for BC and Latrice Sane, who's the all-time block shots leader at Southeast Missouri. By the way, Latrice Sane also celebrating her 24th birthday today, so happy birthday, the one they call Tree.
I used to hate that nickname. Everybody tall was a tree.
You got to steer into the skid, Tabitha. Good pass to the corner, skipping it to Bradford. Short. And the rebound for BC's Michaela Dickens.
Long shots, long rebounds.
Quick trigger for Dickens. On the offensive glass, it's Gacting. And Washington emerges for Clemson.
And Gacting right there showing off some of those post moves that head coach Bernby McAfee was talking about over here. She missed that shot just now. You can see the head coach kind of be like, dog it, she missed the shot, because she's so in her favor as far as the kind of skill set that Maria Gacting has shown that she has. She talks about her hands and how she catches the ball and her skill set.
Gacting with a hedge. Veronica Hitt takes it all the way and scores off the glass.
Pretty move. Hitt just rounding the corner. Nice screen up top. Boston College doesn't recover. Hitt takes it straight to the basket. Beautiful move for Clemson.
Gives the Tigers their first lead. Again feeding Gacting. The double comes immediately, and the tackle soon thereafter. Foul is on Sane.
And this drive by Hitt, she just comes off the screen. No one hedges after Gacting hedges up. No one comes out. Boston College played it going under, but they did not recover. The communication was not there, leaving Hitt wide open to the basket.
What do you think of these BC?
It kind of threw me off a little bit when they took off the warm-ups. I'm not going to lie, I like them now that I've gotten used to them a little bit.
They're sharp.
That's a good word. Sharp is a very good word for it.
But they also require some explanation to someone who's not familiar with them. You look at them like, oh, what team is that? Yeah, it's Boston College on the Heights.
Exactly. I just didn't expect that from the traditional Boston College jerseys that I've seen.
Elevated campus in Chestnut Hill. Shot clock winding down and the turnover. Dontavia Wagner intercepts. Stays with it, and Hank strips her. Hank holding her ground up ahead. Amari Robinson all alone, missed the layup.
And that can't happen for Clemson to get that kind of a transition bucket, easy bucket in transition, and be all alone. You've got to finish that shot.
Wave off the shot, traveling violation on Cameron Swartz.
And that's one thing that Amanda Butler was telling us about, Evan, that, you know, Clemson's so good offensive rebounding and leaking out and playing that fast pace, but you got to finish the shots now. Now it's about completing the second half of the play. And this Clemson team, everyone agrees, is much better than their record shows.
They've also played a crazy schedule considering the players they've missed.
And the fact that they have 8 newcomers to this roster this season as well. I mean, that's a lot of changing and moving pieces for any team. And you throw in the COVID and injury factor. Hard to get anything going chemistry-wise.
Knocked down triple from Michaela Dickens, the 202nd three she's made in her fantastic career at BC.
Now Michaela Dickens passing that 1,000-point mark. The last game versus Syracuse. She was a little bit humble when she got the game ball.
And she passed the 1,000-point mark a couple games ago. They gave her the ball in honor of it on Thursday night. And yeah, she was humble talking about it. Her coach bragged on her big time. Because Michaela Dickens was recruited by Burnaby McNamee to play at Albany.
Yep.
And when Burnaby McNamee got the job at BC coming from Albany, they're like, hey, we don't have that many players. Can you come to Chestnut Hill? And she said Michaela's mom was great. She said, yeah, she's not passing up this education. She's coming to BC. And, you know, for a player like that to transition to the ACC when they weren't getting a ton of ACC offers and to vindicate that move with over 1,000 points, it's been a heck of a journey for Michaela Dickens. Over 200 threes.
Yeah, the second lead 3-point shooter on this team.
There's a smooth stroke from Marnell Gerard.
Gerard, another player that's been coming on strong, helping Boston College in a plethora of ways, leading this team in assists and in steals, but can also hit the shot, as we just saw.
Tough shot, high off the glass by Washington.
And that's the thing for Clemson. Boston College is going to make it very difficult for Jalecia Washington to score. So she's going to have to be very creative, which we can see she can clearly do. This game exactly where I thought it would be, a tight one. I mean, we talked about predictions before the game, and I told you, Evan, I think this game's going to go down to the wire. First quarter is not disappointing, and Washington for Clemson is going to have to find some different ways to score and get creative, which we know she can do.
Well, as the bar on the bottom line tells you, the 19th all-time meeting. The past 18 meetings have been decided by an average of about 5 points per game.
And then both these teams didn't meet last season either because of, you know, COVID, you know, throwing a wrench in the schedule and not being able to reschedule those games. So these two teams haven't seen each other since, what, 2020, early in 2020 in the ACC tournament.
Yep, March 2020, 85-73 win for BC. 21 points for Marnell Gerard in that game. Last time the Eagles came to Clemson, February of 2020, BC escaped with a 2-point win, 70-68. Good backdoor feed, but Washington could not make the clean catch.
Yeah, Washington a little frustrated because Boston College is making it very difficult for her to catch the ball because they know that once she gets the ball in her hand, she's very quick and she's dangerous. So they're going to make her work for it today. A little bit of a miscommunication there between Clemson.
Now Clemson trying to create a little chaos with a full court press. Kayla Ivey maintains control, the sophomore from Maryland. About a 9-second differential between the game and shot clock. Tigers should see it again. Dickens off 1 foot, banks it in.
Smart play by Dickens right there. Wasn't confident that she had the three. Took it in for the one dribble and avoided the charge.
Lewis with 2. Gets it off the glass, but can't connect. And Jalen Batts grabs the rebound as time expires. 9 first quarter points for Cameron Swartz.
After it on the boards.
Yeah, well, Clemson's missed 10 shots, and they're used to getting a lot of their own misses back. They only got 1 of those 10 misses back.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Looking up high. Leaping catch by Taylor Soule, showing off her hops. Kicks it to the corner, and then Dickens comes up short, but Soule keeps the possession alive.
Just as we're talking about the rebounding, especially the offensive rebounding, Boston College comes up with 2 right there.
Taylor Soul's playing harder than everybody else right now. Dickens can't pay it off, though. And BC wanted over the back on Robinson. Instead, the foul called in the backcourt on Marnell Gerard.
And that's a play that Boston College did not want.
That's the second on Gerard. And Clemson really dodged a couple of bullets there. Some good looks for Dickens, giving up 3 chances, but they get the ball back, still just trailing by 4.
And Gerard didn't agree with that call. Came over, passed us, and said, hey, she was pulling my arm down. As Ivy and Ott both get on the floor, diving for the loose ball.
Dickens pokes this away from behind after getting away with a bump.
And right here, getting on the floor, fighting for the possession. Clemson comes back up with it, but Bradford has got to be careful. Her teammates have got to tell her, hey, you got one behind you when the defender is sneaking up to poke the ball away.
A lot of dribbling here from Nunu Bradford. Gets it over to Maddie Ott. Nice pass inside, and Sames throws it in.
That looks like that's something that really is working well for Clemson lately, especially with Maddie Ott getting more action. With the roster not being that deep for Clemson, that little drive in and dish to Saint in the middle really looks good for Clemson.
Washington creating a fast break after the rebound, and Clemson ties it up. Robinson didn't miss that layup.
Probably went over to the bench and got a nice scolding. But I'm sure Robinson knows that her team needs a win in the ACC. Clemson is hungry for a win right now, so every point counts.
That sequence kind of epitomized what Delisha Washington can do for this team. Getting a rebound, creating a fast break, and getting an easy bucket for her teammate.
Yeah, if it's hard for her to score, she's got to make sure she lets it happen for her teammates. Keeps her eyes open up the floor. No look pass. Finishes the bucket underneath for the easy 2.
Second assist for Delisha Washington, the Florida transfer who's been with Amanda Butler for a long time. Cameron Swartz feeling it.
Swartz looks really good. I mean, the improvement between last season and this season that I've seen, and the addition of moves to her arsenal. Cameron Swartz finding different ways to score.
Moving screen. Latrice Saint's like, come on, it's my birthday. Don't make that call on me today.
Happy birthday, Saint. Go take a seat on the bench. Got to maintain, not be in foul trouble, but Swartz right here. Just a pretty crossover move to the basket, making it happen different ways.
I mean, she was solid in November this year, too, but she's made a jump in December and into January. She averaged about 8 points a game in the first 6 games, and she's nearly doubled that in her last 8. 14.75 points per game in her last 8, and she's got 11 in the first half today.
I mean, Evan, that also goes to, we talked about the opportunities before the game that, this entire COVID situation and injuries and how they played a factor in this season for every single team. And that goes for, players who normally play and players who don't. There's more opportunities, more minutes.
A lot of contact there, no whistle, and Taylor Soul gets her first bucket. The Eagles back up by 4. Yeah, Tabitha, I wanted to go back to what you said pregame as we get another offensive foul called on Clemson. It goes on Robinson, and that's her second. You said that you would have really liked playing in this era, and I was curious what you meant by that.
Because I was a player that when I came in behind someone who was only a year older than me in my position, and I didn't get a lot of playing time. And so when you have a limited roster, it thrusts a lot of players who don't normally get playing time into the game. And with those reps, you get better. You really don't have a choice but to get better when your team needs you out there. And we've seen that throughout these last 1 to 2 years in this COVID situation where you've got players who normally wouldn't play, who've been thrust into that situation, who've gotten better because of the reps and the playing time. And Maddie Ott for Clemson is an example of one of those players who got that opportunity and they realized, hey, she can do some really good things for us. She needs to get more minutes on the floor.
Cameron Swartz with her 6th field goal in 13 minutes of game time. She spent a couple of those minutes on the bench. She's got 13 points. Meanwhile, Van Timmeren picks up the foul, and Clemson's Robinson will get a couple free throws here.
Robinson been so good, especially as of late on the inside for Clemson, and they really need her presence on the inside. Averages 6.1 rebounds a game, 8.3 points a game.
Whistle as that ball was in the air. Free throw is good. It was a violation on BC. Well, the mistake was blowing the whistle when the ball was in the air. Because if the free throw goes in, there's no need to blow that whistle. And it confused everybody. But I think ultimately Robinson gets the point. 23-19. And double dribble.
Taylor Soule a little bit excited right there. Got a little laugh out of it, pointing to Swartz, saying, hey, I was looking for you. But that's one of the examples of how head coach Bernby McAbee said, hey, sometimes we share a little bit too much. And that's where Boston College is number 2 in the league in assists, but that's also where some of those turnovers come in at. Just shoot the shot. Sometimes no need for that extra pass.
Gacktang with her 2nd block. Loose ball collected by Van Timmeren. Dickens uses the Gacktang screen, steps into the 3, and it's rebounded by Amari Robinson. Washington trying to get to her spot. Kicks to the corner for Hank. Here's Dickens coming the other way.
Washington faced the double team down there.
Cameron Swartz is on a whole new level.
And Jalen Bass comes flying across our view after Swartz hit that 3-point shot. Here at Boston College, but I can't help but think with that Southern blood, that weather up there in the Northeast might have made her a little upset. Had to get used to it at first.
It adds to your toughness, Tabitha.
Yeah, right. I never got used to it.
I grew up in Massachusetts, and now I'm a Southerner like you, so I have found the light. Cameron Swartz missed it, gets it back, and then had it stripped. I thought the rule stated Swartz had to score every possession. I'm a little confused.
Clemson said, no, we're going to put a wrench in that plan.
Another moving screen, though, called on the Tigers. That's the 3rd offensive foul this quarter.
But Evan, not really a but it just comes down to Clemson not really having that chemistry that they're used to having, with this being the 10th or 11th different lineup. You can see right there that connection between the screener and the person dribbling the ball has to be there. And if you're the screener, you got to stay still. But if you're handling the ball, you've got to bring the defender to the screen. So a little bit of a miscommunication there for Clemson.
Dickens, tough shot, missed it. Van Timmeren keeps the possession alive and puts it in.
Van Timmeren getting some good playing time and rolling in Boston College early last season. Did some really good things.
Largest lead for BC. Sliced into by the fadeaway from Robinson.
Robinson looks really good down there.
Well, she's got 8 and needs some help.
Yeah. Delisa Washington is trying to find her offense, and right on cue.
That's how she does it. Oh, no. She can't believe it. We can't believe it. Gacktang in traffic, sandwiched between defenders, and loses the ball. Washington, cross court, touch pass from Hip to Lewis, and she was fouled before the shot. So Clemson will have it on the side.
Credit Boston College's defense for the night that Washington is having, and I'm looking at her right now. She's a bit frustrated, a bit winded. It's facing a defensive strategy that's come at her that she's really not had to face before. In Boston College, their game plan is right on point. Try to disrupt the way that she catches the ball and limit her catches and opportunities, and it's working so far. Washington only with 2 points in this game.
Van Timmeren just picked up her second foul, so like Marnell Gerard, she's on the bench with 2 personals. Washington doesn't take a lot of threes, so gets inside, gets her own rebound and throws it in.
And right there, she let out a bit of a sigh of relief, and boy, she had to work for that one. Got her own offensive rebound and putback, but maybe that's the spark that she needs to get her back going in this game and create some offense.
We were talking about Michaela Dickens crossing over 1,000. Delisha Washington last Sunday crossed over 1,500 in her career, and BC running its offense well right now. Seoul getting the easy deuce.
Yeah, the vision that they have, and that's also that connection when you've got that trio of Dickens, Seoul, and Swartz, who all returned from last season. They're the second highest trio that returned in the ACC this season, and they've got that connection that they've built over the past 2 years, and you just saw it right there. They know where each other is going to be on the floor.
BC's got a lot of continuity. Adding Gakdang into the mix. The deflection. Swartz fouled by Washington to slow the break.
Washington a little bit frustrated, saying defensively, hey, you got to pick this up. Let's go.
I mean, she's like, I've played 126 college basketball games before the day. Trust me, our intensity, we got to pick it up a notch.
Right there, the vision from Dickens to know that Seoul was cutting to the basket. Got her right there for the easy 2. Boston College looking really good, and the chemistry flowing really well as Dickens takes a break with Gakdang.
So Swartz a chance to add to her total at the line. 17 now for Swartz. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the first half highlights and stats, because of course we will. Also, we'll preview the upcoming 2 o'clock game from the Carrier Dome. The Duke Blue Devils, 17th in the nation, are in Syracuse. Also run down the rest of the ACC schedule that is ever evolving in these continuously crazy times. But we are grateful to have a tip-off today here at Clemson. And if you like palindromes, check out that line right now. 32-23 with the Eagles up by 9.
That was a really good definition, Evan, of a palindrome. Good job.
Thank you.
Diving on the floor. Clemson, I just love the defense right now.
Hang on, were you mocking me or were you being serious?
I'm serious. I'm corny that way.
Because usually folks mock me when I bring up stuff like that.
No, I'm corny right along with you. Yeah, I was serious. I went to Georgia Tech. I mean, come on. We're a little nerdy down there.
I appreciate that. The 4th offensive foul called on Clemson in the quarter, and that's number 3 on 3.
And that's definitely got to be a chemistry thing right here. Tree doesn't get all the way out and doesn't get set for the screen. But again, for Washington, she's got to wait until that screen is set, and she's got to bring the defender to her. But Tree also has to step up a little bit further and close that gap. That's a chemistry and communication issue from Clemson.
Swartz back to work. A lot of contact, no whistle. Washington has a 2-on-2. Free throws coming for Kiera Lewis.
Kiera Lewis, nice little hesitation step to draw the foul. Saw that she was getting double teamed.
Well, it's interesting, Tabitha. I mean, Kiera Lewis has been a big-time scorer in this conference. She averaged almost 18 a game 2 years ago, first team All-ACC. She's averaging, as you see, just under 10 a game so far this year. New situation. They're getting used to her. She's getting used to them. They know it's only a one-year thing. They need her to be a scorer.
It's just challenging, you know, when you have a player who has to get used to a completely different system, and that system has to get used to that completely different player that just got interjected into it. And I think that's been one of the challenges migrating Kiara Lewis into this Clemson lineup. And you said it yourself, they need her to score now and this year. But, I mean, she's a pro, she's a playmaker, and she takes pride when that ball is in her hands, and she's been adjusting pretty well for Clemson thus far.
Today's the 138th game of Kiara Lewis's career. Michaela Dickens from deep. 8 first-half points for Dickens.
Dickens loves coming off the bench and being that hero, that sixth man that can come in and light it up, and that's what she prides herself in.
Under 2 minutes in the half. Lewis running at multiple defenders, sets up Bradford from deep. That's a huge answer for Clemson.
Oh, yeah, got some wind back in her, and Clemson comes up with the turnover.
Bradford to the bucket, too strong. Dickens hugs that basketball tightly. Ahead, Bats. Nice catch by Gacktang.
And those are the hands that head coach Bernie McNamee was talking about to us. And she was just so impressed with Gacktang, her hands, especially for a freshman, to be so good and athletic. And right here, we don't think that Bats is going to get it there. We think that it's going to get intercepted. Nope. Gacktang is right there to catch that ball like a receiver and put it back in for Boston College for the easy 2.
Gacktang's first field goal. She's 1 for 2 today. Her first 2 games of the year, Tabitha, she was 5 of 17 from the floor. In each of her last 12 games, she shot 50% or better from the field.
And I think it's, you know, she even said it herself. She had to get a couple of ACC games under her belt. She was anticipating it and was a little nervous going into those ACC games. Got 2 of them under her belt, and after that UNC game, she and her head coach agreed that she had kind of felt herself in, and she was adjusting defensively and being more aware in her hands, and she was just getting better game by game. She's gotten better with the higher competition.
Sure has. Picked up her first foul, a hustle foul there, and Coach Bernie McNamee does not want to mess around with her possibly getting number 2 in the final minute of the first half, so gets her out with a 9-point lead as Lewis goes back to the line for Clemson.
Lewis averages the most free throws on the team and is the second lead scorer, partly or in part due to that. Gets to the line very well, playmaker.
Battle for the rebound. This was last touched by Jalen Bats. So it's Clemson ball. It feels like BC has controlled the pace and tempo of this game. And they're on track for around 80 points, but Clemson hanging around, and Hank hits the elbow J to get it back to a 6-point game.
Yeah, play drawn up very well and executed very well. Hannah Hank just right there at the corner for the 15-footer. None but net. Pretty shot. She can stretch the floor for Clemson.
Been fun to see Hannah Hank's confidence grow since her freshman year too, especially as a shooter. Cameron Swartz, speaking of shooters.
I mean, she's just on today, and she is feeling, I mean, she's zoned out, and you can see it in her face. Even with her reaction, it's not too much of a celebratory moment. It's, hey, get back on defense and get a stop.
21 in the half for Swartz. Washington in and out. Swartz finds the rebound. BC bench screaming for one shot.
Washington having to work so hard for anything to go down.
Behind the back, Dickens flips it inside. Pretty good defense by Hannah Hank to deny Clara Ford. And that'll do it for the first half. Cameron Swartz was 8 of 12.
Many turnovers they had from screens, from just not connecting those screens and from moving screens and offensive fouls. I think that you can't, you know, bite yourself in the foot when it comes to the turnovers and not giving yourself a chance. So that's first and foremost for Clemson. That has to change. And secondly, Delisa Washington's got to get going. She's only got 4 points in this game. They've got to find a way to get her going offensively and feed off of that.
Maybe it's this end of the floor because Maria Gakding was just called for the illegal screen. And Clemson will take over. And you mentioned the turnovers. The Tigers this season are 5-1 when they turn it over 16 times or fewer. They're 1-7 when they turn it over 17 or more times. It's a 7-point game, though. Washington gets to her spot.
And that's exactly how Clemson needs to start. And that's the one player they needed to start this half off scoring to get her going. Try to create a little bit of spark for them.
Gakding made the mistake of bringing the ball down. Bradford right at Swartz. No. Hank has the rebound. Sets up Washington.
Gakding was also triple teamed in the post there, and that might be an adjustment by Clemson to limit her touches in the paint.
Second offensive rebound of the trip for Hannah Hank, but it does not lead to any production. I think they got the foul on Clemson here.
But again, this is part of what...
No, they're going to call it on Gakding.
The head coach was talking about for Clemson. When they get offensive rebounds, you have to be able to finish that shot. And we saw on the replay right there, even though it was a bit of a trip up.
They called it on Gerard, I believe. And if that is indeed the case, it's her third.
And Gerard's somebody they can't lose.
Shot clock at 7 here. Step back. Bradford airmails it. Hank got her hands on another rebound. Has the player. Catches the iron but can't connect. Gakding the rebound.
Amanda Butler stressed that, hey, our team is good at offensive rebounds. We're really good at that, but we've got to finish those second chance opportunities.
Out of control there. At the other end. Cuts it to 5.
Imagine without the turnovers and without the missed second chance opportunities, this game, Clemson would probably have the lead.
Oh, Swartz!
Cameron Swartz said, wait a minute. I got something to say about that. And I was going to say, but otherwise, if not for Swartz and her scoring ability in this game, she's got 24 so far.
24 points in 20 minutes for Cameron Swartz. Washington short with a jumper. Dickens.
And no one from Boston College underneath the rim to rebound that long shot. And that's what's so dangerous about those quick three-point shots. Your defense not set up yet.
Running through the screen, they got Gerard. And they did not call the previous foul on her because now she has 3.
You know, Evan, it almost seems like Clemson has been controlling the tempo so far in the second half. And I know it's only almost 3 minutes into the second half, but it just feels like they've got the momentum swing in their way. Now it's just all about finishing those shots underneath the basket when you get them.
Another offensive foul called on Boston College. I beg your pardon, excuse me, that was on Washington.
Washington very frustrated.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of a talk from Amanda Butler. Right here, tries to take it in. Very good defender. Taylor Soule moves her feet. And that's a smart senior that you're going up against. And that's about knowing personnel from Delisha Washington. Taylor Soule doing a very good job of moving her feet and drawing that charge.
Tricky shot goes off the glass for Taylor Soule.
And she comes down on this end and draws the foul and gets the and one. Taylor Soule, the heart and soul of this Boston College team, just sees that she has the mismatch on the post player. Hannah Hank takes it right at her to the middle of her chest and puts it in the basket, stops the clock for the and one.
Averaging just under 16 a game. I mean, she only had 9 on Thursday. Didn't prevent her team from scoring 95 on the Orange.
But she's definitely going to have to get some more offense going. She's got 5 rebounds and 2 assists in this game so far. But, you know, we talked in the open about her getting back to her scoring ways. Didn't have to, like you said, in the last game. But, you know, definitely if they want to stay on top of this league, Seoul has got to produce some more offense.
Some full court pressure and a reach-in foul called on Swartz. You look at the box score from Thursday night. BC scored 95 points. They had 50 in the paint. They made 11 threes. So 50 plus 33, that's 83. They had 8 points from the free throw line. That's 91 of their 95 from beyond the arc, the paint, or the free throw line.
That's nuts. They were 50% from the three-point line as Clemson says, hey, for Marietta, I got something to say from beyond that three-point line. Much needed three-point shot from her. Clemson struggling from behind the line this year to not only shoot it, but defend the three-point shot.
Marietta, 7 of 14, the last 2 games from beyond the arc after not making a 3 before then. And out of bounds to the Tigers.
Good vision there by Taylor Soule. Got double team. Saw Wagner for the easy shot. Wagner just overshot it from this side. Tough angle from this angle to knock down that shot. It could be a little confusing.
Kiera Lewis still looking for her first field goal. She's got 3 points from the line, 0 for 4 from the field. They set up Ott, and she was fouled. Dontavia Wagner fouls the three-point shooter.
And that's a tough lesson that Wagner is going to have to learn about closing out effectively and not fouling three-point shooters. And yeah, she gets Marietta right there on her left arm. As she comes down, you've got to allow the three-point shooter to land. And now Boston College has the clock stopped with Clemson able to cut into this lead with no time running down.
And these are the first free throws of Maddie Ott's college career.
Wow.
Freshman from Frisco, Texas.
And we talked about how she's a product of being able to get more playing time and get more reps because, hey, I mean, both of these rosters don't go very deep, and Clemson needed some more bodies, and Marietta was just able to step in there, get the playing time, and when she had the opportunity to prove herself, was able to earn that playing time and stay on the floor, and had the coaches realize, hey, we can use her, we can utilize her, especially the three-point shooter.
That was a key last free throw for Ott's box score in season stats. 1 for 3 and 2 for 3 is a huge difference there in percentage. He makes 2 out of 3, and that's not bad. And Clemson's going to get it back. The foul is on Gakdeng. That's her third. Dickens coming back in. Gakdeng coming out.
And that's an adjustment by Clemson's defense as well, because Gakdeng had her way, you know, in that first half, was able to get a lot of things off. And now we see that she's being double and triple teamed in the post. And so those good hands by the freshman, I mean, no one's Superman or Superwoman. There's only so much you can do when there's 2 or 3 bodies being thrown at you.
And all of a sudden, Marietta living at the free throw line for Clemson. And you look at the faces of the BC coaches, Tabitha, there's a sense of frustration right now. It looks like they feel like they should be more in control with the way that they've played, and yet here they are, and there's 16 minutes of basketball left, and they're like, are we really going to let this one get away from us? Because Clemson could take it. They know that.
Yeah. And basketball is a game of adjustments, and, you know, Clemson adjusted to some things coming out of the half that have allowed some of Boston College's key contributors to kind of pull off and not have their way, and they've limited Taylor Soule to 7 points so far tonight, and she's their go-to player.
Clemson with a chance to get it down to 2 or 3, depending on the outcome of this possession. Tigers' only lead in the game was 11-9. BC has led for most of the day. Good defensive possession there as Clemson turns it over for the 13th time. Tigers defense gets the deflection and almost gets it back. It was last touched, though, by the Tigers. Midway through this third quarter, Clemson has cut into the deficit.
Able to limit some production from some key Boston College players, that gang being one of them.
They set up a play for Swartz, and the foul.
And Swartz, with her 26th point of the night, is determined to make it happen for Boston College. They needed some scoring production right here off the out-of-bounds play. Perfectly drawn up and one.
Perfectly drawn up. But let me push back. She wasn't open. She had two hands in her face, and she still sticked it.
So the play wasn't for her.
Well, I think it was for her. I think Clemson knew it was for her, and she splashed it in their eyes anyway.
Nothing but net, too.
27 for Swartz. What a game she's having. 10 of 15 from the field. 4 of 7 from 3.
And get this, Evan, still the only Boston College player, still the only player in this game at all in double-digit scoring.
Handful of players with 8 points. Dickens picks the pocket there. Gerard to Swartz. Free throws coming up.
All right, there, Swartz is a little far away from the basket. Boston College gets out for fast break Gerard. See Swartz in the open lane. And trying to take the charge, just didn't have her body set yet, but Boston College doing a good job in transition offensively.
And Mariette's like, did you see how hard I got hit? And you're calling it on me, but she was in that restricted area, and that's what happens.
And also, I don't think, Ott really was set completely. Her body was a little bit turning to the side.
First foul on Ott. Swartz still perfect at the line. She has matched her career high with 29 points.
Crazy. Crazy.
Quick 5-0 run from Cam to stretch the lead back to 10. Amari Robinson answers. She is the first Tiger in double figures. She's got 10 points, and the Tigers are within 8.
And Robinson just working so hard underneath and down low, so active. She's been a good help for the Tigers, especially inside of the paint. Part of those paint points that the Tigers have, but part of keeping Clemson in this game as well.
Fourth personal was just called on Hannah Hank.
And Hank's presence is definitely necessary as we see Michaela Elmore come into the game, because they know, Clemson knows they need Hank in this game during crunch time. That's a foul that they did not necessarily want. Hank's got to take a seat.
Taylor Soule at the free throw line. Over 1,200 points for her and counting in her BC career. Today, game number 95 on the Heights for Taylor.
And we talked about Soule scoring, and Soule's not one of those players that she gets her 9th point slowly creeping up into double digits, 1 point away, but she's not one of those players that is an I player. She's about the we and the us. And Coach Burnaby McAdoo, the easy 2 to the basket, was telling us about how Soule and that unselfish attitude has rubbed off to the other teammates for Boston College, and how they just celebrate each other, even on the bench. And I remember me saying Jalen Batts was over here when Swartz hit a 3-point shot in the first half. She crossed our paths and ran over to celebrate. And it's that unselfish behavior that's allowed Boston College to be successful, with Soule being that key person to start that off.
Gerard unable to convert in traffic. Clemson continues to hang around and hang around. Can they get over the hump and tie the game or take the lead?
Yeah, they cut the lead down, and Boston College stretches it back down, and it's just been cyclical for Clemson, where they can't get past that hump.
Joanna Burnaby-McNamee cannot believe they called a foul on Swartz.
And right here, both teams fighting. Yeah, Cameron Swartz. That's a tough call. What did you see, Evan? I saw her feet where it was tough from that angle, but her feet looked like they might have been right on the edge of the circle. It's a close call for sure.
One of the Boston College assistants is yelling lower defensive box. There can be an offensive foul in that area, not on a driver, but on a post player in that lower defensive box. It's a tad complicated.
Yeah.
My thoughts are Joanna Burnaby-McNamee was very displeased by the call.
Yeah.
And she was shocked.
I mean, that was a tough one. I'm not going to lie. Even looking at the replay, it looked like it could have been called either way.
All of a sudden now, Mari Robinson has 14 points. And the Tigers are back within 6. Swartz. Oh, yeah. Career high 31 for Cameron Swartz.
And that's how you respond to a call that you don't like. You talk about the next play action and how proud that coach Joanna Burnaby-McNamee is of her team and that next play action. And right there, you could just see Cameron Swartz didn't have the play from the call that she thought she should have had and came down and responded with a score on the offensive end.
When do you think Cameron realized today was going to be special? Was it in warm-ups, Gacktang for 2 more, and the lead back to 10? Was it warm-ups? Was it during that opening sequence when she scored the first 9 BC points?
I think as a player, it starts in warm-ups. I think you come in and you just have a different feeling about yourself, and then that can be solidified during that first opening sequence when you're just starting to feel it, especially if your first shot or a couple shots get to go. And for Cameron Swartz, that happened to her today early on. She was hot. First 9 points.
Beautiful pass there, and Robinson finishes the feed from Bradford.
First 9 points for Boston College were all from Cameron Swartz. So I think it was a combination of her warm-ups and had that opening sequence that she knew she was going to be on today.
Robinson the steal.
And right now I think Swartz is a little winded because Marietta thought she was going to be there to catch that pass.
For 3. The second 3 of her season to bring the Tigers back to within 5.
And Elmore is in to relieve Hank, who got in foul trouble a few minutes ago. So coming in and making a splash, literally, for Clemson.
Gacktang answers.
You don't see freshmen with that kind of move and that plethora and arsenal of moves, and Gacktang is just so smooth down low.
That was a big bucket there. Stretch it back to 7. Important possession for the Tigers. Could be their final shot of the quarter. They get a good look, and Gacktang swats it away. Eagles have numbers. Coach wants them to slow it up, and Boston College turns it over. Joanna Burnaby-McNamee very frustrated that her team will not take the final shot of the period.
What a sequence of events that was to lead up to that moment.
I mean, you can get on Dickens for not knowing the situation, but they also had numbers here, Tabitha.
Yeah, but it all started with the swat by Gacktang. I just knew that Robinson had that easy 2 underneath, but Gacktang just came out of nowhere and swatted it out.
They might get the final shot of the quarter anyway. Taylor Soule all alone lays it in. Just how BC drew it up. And it's 61-52.
Scoring off the and one. Just getting it done in every way possible for Boston College, and boy, did they need that offense today in this dogfight on Clemson's home floor.
Tigers had a good look. And then Robinson fouled from behind on the second chance. Clemson getting more offensive rebounds. That category is now even after the 9th board of the game for the Tigers at the offensive end right there.
And the rebounding category wasn't as even early on in the game. And I think that's part of the thing that's kept Clemson in this game has been their rebounding ability, which, you know, offensively, they're known for that offensive rebounding. But Boston College had taken away some of those opportunities in that first half. Clemson doing a good job adjusting in the second half to kind of get some things going.
Tigers out-rebounded BC to your point, 9-4 in the third quarter. BC leading the all-time series 12-6. Eagles are 5-2 here at Little John Coliseum. Winning here February of 2020 by 2. Great hands there, deflected.
Fake a pass to make a pass. That's important in games like this when there's a lot of players who get in passing lanes and like to get deflections. A lot of telegraphed passes by Boston College. One of the areas that Boston College wanted to clean up was that turnover area. Tonight they've got 20 so far.
Acrobatic move by Bradford, scooping it up. And the foul going on Jalen Vance.
Bradford, someone whose offense is needed in this game, takes it off the one leg. Unconventional shots, but athletic move, stops the clock and allows Clemson some time to bite into this lead, but you got to knock down the free throw to do that.
Nunu Bradford, the junior college All-American at Jones College, where she led her team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. That's pretty much everything.
That's pretty much everything. Kind of filling in a little bit for Alicia Washington, who is the other everything player for Clemson, leading them in points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, currently Washington just 6 points today. She does have 7 rebounds, 3 dimes. Here's Swartz. She's had the hot hand all day. Excellent defense by Washington. Swartz gets around her and scores anyway.
All right, Evan, I had no idea how she was going to get that one up. I was sitting here, no way, right in front of us on the floor. No way she's going to get this one up. And she just does the crossover, gets it through, and goes off of one leg and airs it through the paint.
Gatting swats it. She was out of bounds, though. Shot clock should not have reset. Swartz now at 33.
Let's take another look at it. I mean, she just crosses Washington over. Notice this Ott coming over. Crossover, gets it in. Ott comes over, doesn't commit well enough, and just takes it off the one-leg runner into the basket.
That's when you know it's your day.
That's how you know it's your day. I mean, everything's just going Swartz's way.
Robinson, pretty good seal. Gatting, better defense. Dickens ahead. Soul sees multiple defenders. Fortuitously finds Swartz. 35 for Cameron Swartz.
You know, I was about to say there goes that unselfish play where you don't need that extra pass, but that chain of events just worked out so well for Boston College that I'm just going to go ahead and say I was wrong before even saying it.
And Robinson with an accidental banker. By the way, they did not give Taylor Soul an assist for that Swartz jumper. It deflected off the hands of one of the BC teammates, and I mean, it's got to be an assist for somebody, right?
Come on, that should have been an assist.
Gatting, 2 more. She's getting to her spot. She's really tough to stop when she does.
Gatting doing a good job of adjusting to the defense that was thrown at her by Clemson after halftime, getting herself back in this one.
Keeping the Tigers within striking distance.
Bradford with 9 points, a much-needed piece for Clemson today.
After missing the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Aaron pass there. Robinson the steal. Wide open 3. Hit. Missed it. And BC wants to slow it down.
And that's something that I wanted to see Clemson do for just a second on the other end. That, you know, get the ball, get some rotation going, allow your defense, or not allow the defense to set up and break it down a bit.
Swartz just took one off the nose there in the rebound action. And the officials are giving this back to Clemson.
And Boston College can't believe it, that Clemson is getting that ball back. But Cameron Swartz, what a day she's having. 35 points, a new career high for her. And it's not over yet. 6:36 left in this game. We're going to need her to give a little bit more.
Timeout called. Evan Leffler, tapping for Turner Wilkins. Delighted you've joined us. Whether you've been with us since the top of the hour or you're just tuning in for the fourth quarter. Clemson within 8. BC's largest lead was 11. Eagles have led for almost the whole game. Clemson continues to hang around. Shot clock at 5 for Robinson. And Swartz grabs her 6th rebound to go along with her 35 points.
I mean, the way she just grabbed that rebound, she's just feeling it today, and she looks so good from every angle on this floor. And boy, did Boston College need her to put on the performance she's having tonight.
She's 13 of 18 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. Swartz sneaks in. Loose ball. Here comes Clemson. Robinson. Yes.
Robinson, a good job right there of not taking it full steam ahead into the basket. Saw that Boston College had a defender that was already set up to take the charge and avoided the charge while knocking down the shot.
Big second half for Amari Robinson. She's now got 22 to lead the Tigers. Swartz running into the defense by Robinson. Throws the ball off her. It'll stay BC ball.
That was excellent defense.
Yes, it was.
The way that Robinson moved her feet. I mean, excellent defense on the ball handler. Swartz had nowhere to go. And that is a teachable moment right there for every post player, for every player. That's how they teach you to cut off the baseline and the sideline. Slide your feet and beat them to the spot without drawing the foul. Great defense right there by Robinson.
Shot clock at 2. Dickens forced to fire. And the foul called with 2 on the timer. To bail BC out and give the Eagles a couple from the line.
Yeah, tough break here for V-Hip. Clemson gets the shot clock down to 2 seconds, and Hip commits the foul on Dickens, and right there on her right elbow just taps her just a little bit, affecting the shot. Easy call for the ref.
That's certainly a foul. Well, Dickens misses the first free throw. Missed them both. Rebound for Taylor Soule, because of course she did.
Rebounding right now, 32-25 in Boston College's favor.
BC taking some time off the clock. Swartz to Soule. No basket. Before the shot, grabbing the jersey foul on Robinson.
The smile on Swartz's face right now.
They actually called it on Hank, and that's her 5th. So Hannah Hank just fouled out with 4:47 to go. BC by 6.
With how much she's completely just transformed her game and improved throughout the years and throughout the season.
BC can't get the ball in bounds, and they take the timeout. Tabitha, this just gives us a chance to gush
on both sides of the floor.
And BC still has work to do. They get it in and then miss the layup. Jalen Pats had the look. Here comes Washington. Bradford from the corner. Oh, that would have been huge. Swartz grabs her 7th rebound.
And again, Evan, that's not a bad shot, but for Clemson, I think that's a quick shot to take with over 4 minutes left in this game and you're only down single digits. So, I mean, Bradford was open on that shot, but it's a first shot in transition and no one else is down to help you with the rebound or set up to help out with the rebound.
Swartz draws the foul here on Washington.
And right there splits the defenders. Felicia Washington is wondering why she didn't get the charge. Well, it's because her and her other teammate didn't close the screen to draw the charge. And then Swartz, Cameron Swartz, being the smart player that she is, just split in between them. Yeah, that's a foul.
That ball was not close to hitting the rim on that first free throw from Cameron Swartz. Same story there. She's got 37.
Clemson's got to find some more offense, and the person with the ball, Nunu Bradford, is who I'm looking at, even though this is her first game back after missing 2 games in COVID protocol.
Great defense. Gacting got a piece of it.
She's the offensive piece that I think is going to be needed for Clemson to get back in this one if they want to win it.
No. Another offensive rebound, though. Bradford creates another possession. Bad pass by Washington. Soul saw it coming.
Take a pass to make a pass. That's important in this game for both teams because both these teams like to get deflections and play passing lanes.
Taylor Soul may only have 11 points, but she's played so hard, and Dickens now into double figures with 10, and that's the Eagles' lead.
Tough shot by Dickens on the baseline. I mean, she was still moving when she shot that shot. Hard one to make when you're kind of gliding through the air like that.
And the 3 ball just hasn't been there. Latrice Sane lays it in on the offensive glass. Amanda Butler trying to will her team to another defensive stop.
Both these teams just look so winded right now at the end of this game. Maximum effort has been put out for a full 4 quarters.
Yeah, you can think about, BC played Thursday. Clemson has a week to rest. The rest versus rust argument. Swartz, finally a heat check moment for her. The point is, they played so hard for the first 37.5 minutes. That's where the fatigue is today.
Exactly.
Open look, Sane, no. Reball out of bounds to the Tigers.
Sane so close to the basket, couldn't get it to go. Needed a softer touch right there. 2 points that Clemson really needed on an offense, on a shot, excuse me. But they have another opportunity off the out-of-bounds play to get something to go. Time running down for Clemson to cut into this lead.
Clara Ford is in for Gacting, who's getting a conversation with Joanna Burnaby-McNamee. Washington to the bucket. Doesn't get the roll, but she'll get to the line.
Washington just having a frustrating afternoon all around. Not her average numbers, but still in this one trying to make it happen, and takes Clara Ford off the dribble. Notices the post player, and that she has that quick first step on her and is able to take it to the basket and stop the clock. But right here, these free throws are crucial for Clemson with no time running and to try to cut into this lead.
Tigers need to knock these down. Alicia Washington averages 13 points a game, just about. She missed them both.
Tough afternoon all around for Washington. Just completely taken out of her game. And credit Boston College's defense.
Soul says, why not? There's the 9th rebound for Swartz. All she's done, she's 1 rebound away from a double-double. 37 and 9 for Cameron Swartz. What an afternoon here in South Carolina for her. Good hands from Washington. She's kept on battling at the defensive end despite the offensive frustrations.
And that's all you can do, right? You control what you can control. So it might not be your night. You might not have all the shots falling, but you can control your efforts. You can control your defensive tenacity. You can control those deflections and playing passing lanes in your effort. And that's what makes a player special when adversity comes into the picture. And Delisha Washington leading her team the right way. You can clearly see the frustration, but she has not given up in this game for the Clemson Tigers. Well, tell my husband. Just kidding.
All right, 92 seconds left. Clemson down by 8.
More than enough time, but this is a crucial possession to where they almost need to get a score on this possession and keep this one in their sights.
BC comes up with a steal.
Another tough break for Delisha Washington. Gets in there, tries to make something happen, gets it poked away. Frustrating afternoon overall for the leading scorer for Clemson.
So Dickens fouled by Bradford with 1:16 remaining. Joanna Burnaby-McNamee is very frustrated with something. I think it has to do with BC's amount of timeouts. The Eagles were charged with a timeout during the review that they should not have been charged with. So I think they're going to have 3 timeouts left, which is what we have on the bottom line. In the arena, they had them just with 2, and now it ticks back to 3, so the coaches can be pleased that they noticed it and got it right.
And there might be people at home who say, what's the big deal? It's just 1. But in games like this where it comes down to that last second in a close game within single digits, you got to get everything as right as possible to make sure that the match is called as fair as possible.
Are you kidding? Robinson was running for the offensive rebound, and then it banked in. She did not call it there, but she's got 20.
In the paint, a lot of those paint points coming from her. Brilliant play this afternoon inside of the paint. Just getting it all done for Clemson underneath today.
Now, Amari Robinson, before that on-target 3, we'll call it, was 1 for 22 from beyond the arc this year. But she's 1 for 1 today.
100% for today from the three-point line for Amari Robinson. Season high 25 points, 9 of 14 from the field with 7 rebounds. I mean, an efficient game for Robinson, and it's not over yet.
Latrice Sane just fouled out. Happy birthday, Latrice, one more time. But 5 fouls for the transfer from Southeast Missouri. 6 points, 2 rebounds in 12 minutes.
Some good contributions from her. She had some quality baskets, especially earlier on in that fourth with the putback. They got some momentum going in Clemson's favor.
BC coaches just let their team know they have 1 foul to give. Gerard sinks a couple at the line to stretch the lead back to 9. Don't forget Duke Syracuse coming up in just about 1 minute. Washington gets it to go. Amanda Butler takes the timeout.
Off the clock. And Boston College able to stretch that lead if you're Clemson.
If you're tuning in for Duke and Syracuse, we will get you to the Carrier Dome as soon as we finish from Little John Coliseum. Dean Linke and Amy Audibert standing by from Central New York. Here, Boston College has gotten 37 points from Cameron Swartz. on just a unconscious shooting performance. She's 13 for 19 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 7 for 7 from the line. She also has 9 rebounds.
Yeah, don't leave that out.
Taylor Soule has a strong game, 11 points, 6 rebounds.
But for Soule, I know it's nice to know that, you know, she doesn't have to carry the team every single game. She's got other people who can help her out with that, several other people who can help her out with that on, you know, offensively.
And she brings an energy that's unquantifiable in terms of her contribution.
Yep.
Clemson needs 3 threes. Elmore. Gakdeng pulls down the miss, and she'll shoot free throws at the other end. And Boston College is closing in on a road win.
I'm laughing because Coach Joanna Burnaby-McNamee was laughing at Gakdeng's hands again, thinking, hey, she's not going to pull down that rebound. And as soon as Gakdeng pulled it down over 2 Clemson players, she just laughs and turns around to her staff, and it's just like, hey, I didn't expect her to get that one. So just a nice little laugh there at the end of the game for Boston College.
Another good shooting game for Gakdeng today. She's 4 for 5. And after really struggling free throws previously, she was 3 for 3 from the line on Thursday. Does not get the roll there.
Just a freshman with her hands and her skill set already making the impact that she's making in her first season. I mean, it's scary what she's going to look like by her senior year.
It's a 10-point game. Washington trying to get to the cup and does. 28.8 seconds left. Back to Swartz.
Clemson yelling out, don't foul.
And Swartz turns it over. Clemson cuts into a 6-point game with 19 seconds left.
And that might have been what they needed to do to begin with. Don't foul. Play defense to turn them over.
Crossing midcourt to Swartz. Swartz gonna take it, make it. 39 for Swartz. The Eagles are going to improve to 27-2 when scoring 80 under Joanna Burnaby-McNamee.
Alicia Washington slipping into that double-digit figure range with 12 points.
Too little too late, though, for the Tigers. Boston College.